that way. And this is the whole story about Italy political arena in the last 30 years. Everybody starts saying that they will change everything. Once they are in their office, they have to change their mind because we have international constraints, budget constraints, whatever. And instead of moving from revolution to reform, they just, they just keep on saying things without realizing. But the problem is that they have very few experience in management, which is the key problem of Italy. Mm-hmm. It's not only the reform, it's the ability of make things happen.
But reform takes all parties to take part, or at least 2/3 of them in Parliament as well, or a referendum. And you know full well from the Renzi government how difficult that can be as well. Is it the fact that it's the government's problem with reform, or actually the entire political system's problem with reform?
Well, first of all, I mean, this is true as far as institutional reforms are concerned. So whatever is touching the Constitution, there are a lot of other reforms that you can implement. For example, as far as competition is concerned, we have not enough competition in some key areas. But also reform of the public administration in order to cut the red tape and to have a lean process, easy to manage, for example, for the entrepreneurs. So I think that as far as institutional reforms are concerned, it is very difficult for every government to implement that kind of reform in Italy due to the process which, as you were mentioning, I mean, is pretty impossible to complete. If I were Meloni, I would rather concentrate on the other reform that you can implement. Competition, school, health service, public administration. So, and this is what we are not really seeing happening. And I think it's a huge mistake that Meloni wants to concentrate on institutional reform, because she will not be able to carry on that reform, and because that reform is not the most needed in Italy. For example, if you look at institutional reform, would be much better to focus on the relation between, the local powers and the central power. How regions and central state are working together.
We've seen what chaos can look like economically in Italy, and some incredible episodes over the years as well. But at the moment we have a period of calm. Did the banking tax furore show that actually more chaos is just potentially around the corner if the wrong policies are enacted?
It's a very stupid law, first of all. Because, I mean, what you cannot do is to define the fact that there are profits that are right and profits that are wrong. I mean, then you start with the banks and you end up with industrial sectors. For example, machinery tools, in this industry of machinery tools, they're doing a lot of money. And so is for, fashion. So what are you going to do next? You're going to tax fashion because they're making too much, because they are smart and they are able to make profits? So it is a principle which is very dangerous. Because, of course, it's something that all the international investors will look at saying, wow, this is very dangerous. I don't want to make an investment here in Italy, long-term investments, knowing that the government can jump in and say, okay, I'm going to take part of your profit because it's not a right profit.